Hello and welcome. This is Ultimate League. This is Margaret Island. We are here for the Hungarian Grand Prix, keeping up the 3-season streak in Ultimate League of Hungarian Grand Prix, thanks to the talent of our track creator Hanandi, as well as others as well. I am joined today, for the second time in a row, by the brilliant Mr. Bubbles.
Hello, sir. How are you doing?
Well, it's a good question. My team didn't do so well in CL, but as a commentator and completely impartial, I'm doing great. Thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's a wonderful day for racing, and the first lap times are being set, and it's actually Corvid who's had the quickest fast time so far with a 26.82. Do you think we'll see better improvements from that?
Oh, I think it'll be hard to say. Razim in second place at the moment is a tenth and a half off that time. World record is a couple tenths quicker, mind you, but it will be difficult to see anyone go for that. Jero and Anti right down the back order. Surely we'll see things shake up a little bit as they hit the line. And Buda, our world record holder, hits the front here as well. He is properly into it now. 26.72 Bubbles.
Yeah, right now, 8-10 spread the entire field as a lot of new people are towards the front. Corvin and Kraft, second and third, would be great results for them. Can they hold on? Will Nuno get back on the top, or will Buda even improve anymore? Let's see as he crosses the line. Right now, he doesn't improve. A lot of others do. Kader goes up to third, Charged goes up to fifth, and Nuno stays in sixth.
Interesting enough, it's a tied for second, but on pole position for Rapid Motorsport here today. His first pole for the team, it's Buda. Starting P1, Kraft and Kader tied for second behind. They'll start second and third, in what order we're not quite sure. Corvid and Charged JT will start fourth and fifth, making it a quadruple C from second down to five. Then it's the LSA starting sixth and seventh, a little lower than they would have liked for the drivers who are currently 1 and 2 in the championship, having just come out of the mid-season break standing there. Razim will start 8th ahead of Kubo, making his return to Flowforce for the first time since season 12 when he drove there as a main driver. Matimar will start 10th for Neon Sunset, Kubo's team. Figuera, his teammate, is back this weekend. He'll start right behind Mati, P11. It's a double qualifying outside the top 10 for the Nordic Thunders, the Anti-Amazing and Guziman, 12 and 15, Flicks and Rams between them. Danimator starts in a lowly 16th position, Jaruni in 17th, and Urist in 18th. The whole field separated by 0.78 seconds, but higher up, the top 11 separated by just 0.3. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's very close together, and it just shows how competitive this field is right now. Pretty funny, in front of the race, I heard Flick say, I'm gonna qualify 13th. Well, guess where he is? 13th.
No. That is quite something.
He did.
He's four positions behind Kubo, and I heard from last night they had a little wager on about the fact that Flicks might beat Kubo, and if he does, he gets to add big to the start of his name, become Big Flicks. So we may see Big Flicks become a reality.
His house, Kubo's house, is set to be on the line.
Kubo's house is indeed set to be on the line, and his mortgage, and his pride. That is truly going to be quite something to watch.
So
I'm really excited.
A lot to race for these people.
Here we are then, ready to start the Season 15 Hungarian Grand Prix. And we're underway. It's a slow start off the line for Buda. Kraft immediately will try and pull alongside, but Buda has the inside down into turn one. Lots of chaos going on in the background. Everyone makes it through, though. Relatively squeaky clean up top. It's Kader who's hit the front here in the FGR. Kader into the lead. Buda down into second. Kraft. Then Corvid on the inside of Nuno. Matimar, then Figuera. Good start from the Neon Sunset cars. They've gotten themselves up into 6th and 7th positions. Hanandi all the way down to 10th. He's got Anti for company, who he forces into the grass. Flicks, then it's the Mayhems right at the back. They have not benefited off the mayhem of the race start. Buda still in second. Corvid and Nuno flank Kraft. Kraft down. This could be a huge lag rocket, and Kraft is the worst recipient of that as well. Kraft all the way down now. He's in a massive train through that very awkward left-hand hairpin sort of corner with the chicane exit, and Flicks there. Down there, Big Flicks turns into Little Flicks as he goes into the grass, but he does recover well. He's back right up behind Kraft, looking right at the back. It's Danimator, Urist, and Rams, Guziman, and Rozima. Your back four pack. Kader leads. Bubbles.
Yeah, Kader really muscles his way through there, pushing aside Buda and Kraft. with him turning out victorious for now. But Buda, Corvid, and Nuno are really pressuring him for that
Ooh,
lead.
Figo.
Corvid now right behind him, having some slipstream. Let's see if he'll make a move into turns 1 and 2. He elects to stay behind for now. But he just pushes down a little bit of crash touch. Corvid into the lead. These guys were replaced with each other. They swapped teams. And there was been said that one would beat the other. And it's a very competitive nature between these two. But Checkered gets some grass. And he gets a big gap for Corvid ahead. And Matimar is in third. Going for second.
Oh my gosh, is he?
He
How
is.
has he done this? Christ.
He's an incredible reliable start. Oh, he loses it there, but is still in fourth. And Nuno, always reliable, goes for second now and goes hunting for Corvid. Checkered elects to break a little early so he can get in the slipstream as rain is announced.
Oh my gosh. Lots of crashing early on here. Checkered versus Corvid, a front two fight with more ping than a table tennis match.
Corvid does not pit, Nuno
stays
does.
out. Yes, Nuno goes in. Matimar and Corvid are the top two to stay out. Kubo, he's a bit of a chancer, likes staying out as well. Figuera, JT, Hernandi, Flix, Rams, Guzman, and Urist all stayed out. Then that pretty much divides the field equally. Or no, we got 10 to 8 in terms of that ratio. Buda, though, put on the soft. I'm not sure if that was a mistake. I think it must have been. And if there is a lot of rain to come, he will pay the price for that. That is huge, actually. A rare mistake from a winning pedigree driver. Is he on the soft?
Won't resume the lead. Corvid will hold on to it.
He will. And Matimar stayed out again. So Matimar currently is the leader of the Hungarian Grand Prix. As on his slicks, he weaves around this very oily and damp street circuit on Margaret Island. So much water around us, and now it's all coming down on the circuit as well. Mati is passed by Corvid. He'll provide a bit of a challenge to Nuno, actually, but surely he can't give too much more of a fight. With Buda's pace, I think it must be a visual error for me, because I don't think there's any way he can be on the soft and be this quick. No, he is on the inside. I think it's a game error. So, heart in your mouth for whoever the RMC team owner is. But Checkered pulls alongside. Oh, this is going to be difficult battling. Look at that. He just sweeps Buda wide into the wall, and there was not much that either driver could do there. The rain is going to intensify. That is music to the ears of the likes of the Anti-Amazing and Rams. The Finns have their full wet weather tyres on, and they look to have made just the right call. Corvid from Checkered, from Buda, and then Kraft, Danimator, and Kubo right behind. They've improved off the start a little bit. Danny was well down the order. Kubo was struggling in the mid-pack as well. Rain's going to de-intensify. Should be interesting too. Bubbles.
Ooh, contacted with the wall for Kubo. He crashed against the wall. Has now been passed by the Anti-Amazing on the wets. Hernandi right behind him in 9th. Must be disappointing for him. Vigo rounding out the top 10 right now. But a big hit with Kubo and the wall there. That must have hurt.
I think it must have, yeah. Look at this. Look at this fighting going on back here. This is incredible stuff. It's just sort of crawling around as you would expect with intermediates on what are now full wet weather conditions. It's pretty intensive stuff. We'll take a look back at our front two. It's Corvid from Nuno as it stands. Checkered and then Buda, Kraft and then Danimator, and then we've got a big fighting pack here.
Buda having a look here for that podium spot. Checkered tries to get his elbows out. Buda goes round the outside, has the inside for this part. He's just in front in this small straight. Checkered goes for it. That's a late move. Contact has been made. Side by side, aggressive racing. Kraft looking to be the laughing third, and Danimator might gain some spots as well. Buda has set himself free for now. But let's see what happens with this battle for 4th place. Going into turn 1, then into 2nd. Oh, Checkered makes a big mistake. Loses at least 2 spots. Anti-right wants to profit as well. But he'll stay in 7th for now.
He certainly will. Corvid, 2 weeks ago, if you can remember that far back, just before the break, took 2nd place while Buda won at the Montevideo circuit that we visited in Season 11. Both those drivers raced there. They've visited it once again. This is a brand new track, but those two drivers still looking to get on the podium. Nuno, a very rare non-podium finish for him. It was P7, and he'll be looking to, carry the momentum he's got from winning this race. It's hilarious as well to see with the visual error for Buda the softs wear out on a slick track so quickly. You can see how the tyres look brown, but actually he's keeping just as good pace as the cars ahead.
Let's see if some people will go in for dry tires. Anti looking to get in. Kraft got in. Danimator got in. Quick pit stop for Anti. He's right beside Danimator. And exits ahead. It's still a little bit wet, but it's about to get dry. I think Nuno made the right call in staying out because he's already nearing the pits.
Oh dear. I think Kubo's just put on the wets. You can see, I mean, at least it's, yeah, and I think it is the wets. It's not a visual error. He must have just done that a lap or two ago. And that is absolutely heartbreaking for the Polish driver because he is now spiraling downwards, 15th place. The rain is not looking to be coming back. He will be in once again for a slick tyre, and he will not go down. Why is Matti... Slight transponder issue there. He will now go down to last place. It's a reverse Polish 1-2, sadly for them.
Which means Flix is laughing right now. That's exactly what he wanted to happen. He's hunting down Rozim for 11th place with Jeru right behind. And well, Kubo having that major mistake is the perfect thing as they go three wide into second. Flix thinks better of it. Rozim stays ahead. Jeru has gained a spot there.
Not bad racing. This is good stuff from our midfield drivers. They're just scrapping around. The slight issue with this track, I mean, as is the case with many tracks, but when you've got a track with very precise twists and turns like this one, and I'm looking in particular at that sort of short straight in the second sector that leads into the hairpin and sort of pans out as they go three wide again through turn one more time. Well, they all keep it clean. No, Jerry cuts the grass and Rozim catches the brunt of that, and he'll drop a couple positions. It's really difficult when you go slightly off the racing line. You then get punished for that because, you know, you're off the line, you're a little bit deep, you have to come back inside to recover, so you've got a narrower angle into the next corner. It can really be a bit of a nightmare to race, to be completely honest, but this is really interesting to see. Corvid has made mistakes here. Made one right at the end of his wet stint, made another just now, and Buda on the hard compound tyre has that big orange and blue car filling his wing mirrors. Can he try and find a way through? Will he just sit in the slipstream for now? It's going to be interesting to see what the approach is because he might actually believe that at this stage in the stint, his hards will be starting to be a little bit quicker. But still, the whole field, bar 3 drivers, on the soft.
Yeah, and that's the difference between such a track as this, which tight turners where you go all the way to the left with your steering wheel, all the way to the right. You have to use a lot of muscle power to left, right, turn very tightly. The big difference from last race in Montevideo where you had these nice long and swooping corners. This time you have very tight turns, which means on the one hand you have to be very precise. On the other hand, it means a mistake maybe not as costly because people are slowing down for turns all the time. So you might get away with a mistake or two, such as Kraft, who, well, fell down the order at the start, but is now still in this fighting pack for 4th place, with currently Anti-Amazing holding it.
Yeah, this is a really great scrap. Just been following the last couple of laps. This is 5 or 6 cars all getting involved here. J-Team joining to make that now 7, which is incredible. The whole top 10 outside of the podium fighting for pretty much the same piece of tarmac. Buda has now gapped Corvid. Briefly, I saw Corvid on the HUD just a couple tenths away, meaning that he would have been slipstreaming Buda. But now Buda's hards have really taken over. He's 3.8 seconds behind Nuno. These two drivers locked in amazing fights for the race win back around season 11 time. If you were with us back then, we'll link all of that in the comments below. Yeah, really fantastic. Look at this pack going into the pit lane as well. Danimator, Figo, Kraft, as well as Kada and JT, Rozim, Rams, and Guzziman all in 2. Kubo now goes through on his softs, but he'll have to be into the pit lane pretty soon as well. So he's still about a pit stop behind this backpack. That is not nice to see for him. Flix, his main arch rival for the race. The man who's... Oh, that's not a very nice move from Jerry. The man whose his house's ownership depends on is up. The order, Nuno, then Buda. Did we see someone come into the pit lane? Yes, it's the Anti-Amazing who's just come into the pit lane. Fresh softs for him behind the lap older hards of Charge JT. It was an overcut for Anti. Nuno now in. Buda takes the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix. 30 laps to go.
Yeah, Nuno really lost some time in the last few laps of his soft stint there, he had a big lead, but Buddha came into 2 seconds behind as that hard really started to come alive. The first graining phase has been passed, and it means the hards actually get at their best. Nuno also opting for those hards now as he's trying to give chase to Buddha. Which is interesting is that stories change all the time in this race. When you look at the start, you had the first rain come in and you had some drivers electing to pit first and some drivers electing to stay out. At that point, Mati was second and Kubo was actually third. Right now, they're 12th and 18th. Things change all the time here, which is what makes this track so exciting to watch.
I did hear from a certain driver last night talking about strategy to a JL driver. Not going to name names, of course, that would be breaching confidentiality. But one of them asked, do you know what the strategy is? As Kada gets pushed onto the grass. Do you know what the strategy is? One of them said, yes, softs, said the other. Ah, good to know that you know the right strategy. Well, look at this. The top two drivers in the whole field on the hards, and Buddha's last hard stint, he looked to really close in on Nuno. Nuno's responded with the hards, everyone else taking the softs, but, you know, certain drivers who may have advocated that tyre now find themselves well down the order. Interesting to see.
Yeah, and maybe they've elected to go for hards because they have a little bit of clean air. They're running in a clean air. They can get the best lines. They can get the best out of those hards. Well, other competitors are right beside others. You have this pack of four, Nandi, Figo, Kraf and Ketter. They're all on softs and they won't want to get on hards because they don't want to give up anything. They don't want to lose even a little bit of time to their competitors. So they're not on the hards because, well, they may lose some time. But on the other hand, if you're on hards and you get towed along by those softs guys, you may gain a lot of time. So it's a very delicate balance.
I think the counter argument to that's particularly pertinent, to be honest. If you are the kind of driver, as Nuno Luxurious, if you're the kind of driver who wants to try something a little bit different in your strategy, and you see a pack of cars on the softs, you know that if you're travelling with this pack of cars, well then, it doesn't matter if you're on the hards, you're not going any slower than they are. And if you could take the slipstream even just from one other driver in clean air, that means that you're taking that soft pace. You can then play around a little bit with the duration of that hard stint, and that will take you into great places. Buddha into the pit lane, Nuno back through into the race lead. We've not seen these two with much battling on track, and it's all been going in the pits. Rain may be the decisive factor in this race. Corvid actually takes second place now, but he'll be in off his old softs soon.
Yeah, it's a real strategy battle here today, which is interesting because rain can be deciding, but it's also they could see each other at the very end of the race when these two strategies may eventually collide. So we might have a very exciting last part of this race when Buddha and Nuno might be closer than other people would realize.
Corvid into the pit lane. We also see Kraf and Figuera into the pit lane. Great to see Figuera back, actually. Probably good driver. Missed two of the last three races, but he's back on form here today. 9th place on that new fresh soft compound tyre. He's going to look to make up some positions. Also back are the Mayhem boys. Danimator missed last race. Rozim has missed 3 so far this season. They are technically signed as main drivers, but that team has employed the use of a few reserves so far due to just general unavailabilities. But look at this. Nuno 4 seconds ahead of Buddha. Buddha has now elected the soft is the tyre for him. Meanwhile, we've got an on-track battle between Flix and Rozim with the driver behind Flix. Oh, who's that? Yeah, look at that. He's closing in. He's coming back from the dead. We'll see the other fights going on here. It's Figuera just behind Kraft, just slipstreaming each other for now. Hernandi in on fresh, soft compound tyres. He'll be neck and neck with Danimators. They come out. They are now all behind this pack of Figo, Kraft and Kada, and right next to Antti, who is on a slightly older soft compound tyre. Into the pit lane now is the likes of Flix, I believe. Yeah, Flix and Kubo into the pits now. This should be a fun little fight to the end. But of course, focus turns back to our top 5, top 3, and our top driver in this race. Who's going to win it?
Kader was behind these people, was behind Kraft, Figueroa, and Hernandi in that four-way battle. But he pitted a little bit earlier and had a very powerful undercut. But now these other drivers are pounding on him because he has a little older tires. But those little older tires can make a big difference.
Oh, they certainly can. I mean, if you stick in the slipstream, that's all well and good. But if you're starting to fall off and you're losing tenths and tenths and tenths, they all stack up, don't they? JT into the pit lane now. He's on fresh hard compound tyres. He's a firm believer this race, it looks like, of the hard compound tyre. He's got 20 laps left to run. The race leader's just coming up. Nuno into the pit lane now. Two
Kubo and
RNCs
Flix
fly
go
past.
side by side right now. A very important. They beat and bang, and Flix gets into the wall.
Oh,
Kubo's
no.
getting aggressive for his house.
He does not want to lose his property, that is for sure. Guzzy Man is looking to join this fight on what looks to me like a very old soft. No, that can't be right. It must be another visual error. Kada in 10th position on the mediums. It's funny that it's a wide pit exit that then very much tightens up as you get into it. Rozim right behind him now. Kada started up in 3rd position. His 3rd qualifying in the top 3 in the last 3 races. Good set of 3s there. None for him at the moment. He's down in 10th. Buda leads. Nuno on the softs in 2nd place. Strategically, Bubbles. I mean, what do you think they're going to go to for the end here? Nuno with, what, 2 more stints? This being his penultimate?
Well, I don't know. I think Buda needs 2 more stints at least. I don't think he'll... But he might risk going for a long, hard stint. These softs are dying. He needs to get to the pit quick or Nuno will gain too much time. So he might risk hards, but he'll probably go with 2 softs. And Nuno, probably another soft stint for him as well.
Great running from Corvid, who's actually had a very quiet race now in 3rd position. The pack behind him are still assembled together as they have been running for pretty much the last 40 laps. It's Kraf, Figo, Hernandi and Anti. JT can't be too far behind and Danny is in that mix as well. Corvid into the pit lane. He's going to have to hope not to fall in, but he does slightly drop into this pack. He's slightly helped by the fact that Figo and Kraf both came in as well, which de-intensifies his issues. A second separate Nuno and Buda as Buda laps his teammate and Kubo as well. That's all a fight for 13th. Buda is now in. He does not want to let Nuno get past him on track. This will come down to the strategy, and we have a pair of strategic genii in front of us.
Yeah, he stretched his soft stint, let Nuno get that undercut on him for a few laps so he could go to that hard tire, like I said, and Nuno probably still has a pit stop for another soft set, the faster soft set, but can he gain so much that he'll come out in front of Buda anyway? He might. If anyone can, it's Nuno.
Well, that's certainly a statement. 6 seconds back is Buda. He's on the hards. He'll take these all the way to the checkered flag. The question is whether he'll take the checkered flag first or not. We've got a really interesting situation now. Hernandi was just a few tenths behind Corvid. If he kept that slipstream, it's amazing because you've got the slipstream for driver who is otherwise quite far ahead of you, able to stick in there. I think he has just lost it, meaning he's sort of going to start sliding back a little bit towards the likes of Danimator, JT, Kraft and Figo, remember, came in a few laps ago, whereas Danny now only just coming in, Hernandi yet to come in. They are stretching their soft stints much further than the drivers before them, taking the undercut. Danny comes out in 9th place in this relatively compact top 10 pack, all looking good. Looking just outside of it, we've got Razim, just ahead of Jeru actually at the moment on some pretty old hards. Matimar on the soft, just ahead of Flix, who is just ahead of Kubo, a couple seconds. Sorry, no. Well, it looks like a few tenths here. Rams, anyways, just behind Kubo. Urist and then Guzzy Man. The gap between Nuno and Buda is under 5 seconds now. Nuno will be in off those old softs in probably a few laps' time.
Yeah, and you see these drivers stretching out and getting more large gaps between themselves as Kraft and Vigo are catching up to charge in the hards. And see that multiple drivers are now opting for mediums and hards so they can get themselves to the end because they don't have to battle as much anymore, so they just want to ease their tires towards the end. As the Scuderia Pericaro drivers go side by side, Charge let Vigo pass as well to let them battle for 4th place for now, as Buda seems to be gaining quickly on Nuno now.
Yeah, 3.5 seconds is that. Always interesting to see the dynamic between teammates. I think you would see if Figo wasn't part of the equation, the SCP drivers help each other out a little bit. JT lets Kraft pass, Kraft lets him have a bit of slipstream. There's not much that Kraft can do with Figo in the picture, because if Figo gets the right run and Kraft overly slows to help out Joe, Figo just buggers off up the road and takes the 4th place, which would be his career best, I think. Definitely his best this season. Nuno into the pit lane now. He's just ahead of Corvid, and that is really important. Corvid is no easy man to overtake unless he lets you, sweeps you by, which he may well have done. But still, the gap now 3.5 seconds. Buda and Nuno now in the favour of the Estonian driver, who has just 8 more laps to the checkered flag. Can he hold this first position?
Something interesting to me, Skip, is Catter right now. He's had great qualifying so far this year, but it doesn't seem to work yet so far this season. There were a lot of expectations for him, but he hasn't made them through just yet. And I think a part of that is that he's been pitting a lot more than some of these drivers around him. He's had pitting earlier, getting aggressive undercuts, but I think in the end people are catching back up to him, and mistakes with worn tires have caught up to him as well. I think these undercuts haven't worked out for him yet. Maybe soon there will be a track where they will be powerful enough for him to get a good result, but he needs to be putting these qualifying results into actual race results.
So Kraft got undercut by Charged JT, which is quite interesting. They were side by side as Joe came in a couple laps ago. Kraft comes in, he's right in that pack with Anti and Co. It's going to be interesting this. Yeah, Kraft is on the slightly fresher soft. JT lets him through on the inside of that final corner, which is quite a wise place to do it. You just have to move slightly off the racing line. 1.7 seconds separates these drivers. It looks like, unfortunately, Kubo will retain his house for the time being. He's pitted to come out into P14. Flicks pitted a couple laps ago, is in P16, about a pit stop now behind Kubo. So barring any freak rain, we will see Kubo retain his property rights for the time being. Buda 1.7 ahead of Nuno. This is going to be a nervy gap because, as we've said in previous races at places like Cremona, places like Kimi Ring, you know, if there is one driver you don't want to see in your wing mirrors, one of them is Buda, the other is Nuno. You have to wonder with each other, how do they feel when they see the other closing in? Are they like, oh no, he's faster than me, he's going to get me, no. Or do they just say, I'm the faster driver, I can do this, I know I can win races, I've done it before, I'll do it again. Buda makes a little error there.
I think a nice battle for 6th as well now as Kraft goes side by side with Vigo. Charged and Kraft haven't held each other up in trying to gain on Vigo, and I think they've been working together so nicely as teammates this year. We saw last race in Montevideo working together with that rain. That time Charge was a little bit faster and Kraft stayed in the draft, and this time it's the other way around. Great teamwork all around, but there is a battle for the lead brewing. There's 8 tenths between them. Buda on the hards, Nuno on the softs. As Buda is going to cross the line, there's 2 laps left of exciting racing, 9 tenths to separate them. This is going to be fun.
It sure is. We've got about a minute now between this very moment and the checkered flag falling, with question being which driver it will fall for. 9 tenths was the gap at the start of the penultimate lap of the race. That has closed to about 5 tenths. It will not be long now before Nuno is in the slipstream of Buda, at which point you have to wonder, coming out of that final corner, if he's got the slip, if he's got the better run and he's got the softs that are better in the straight line, can he make that move? One last lap. This is the final lap of the race. Nuno now in the slipstream of Buda, very much so. He needs to navigate well through these twists and turns of the middle sector. Set up that move coming down the start-finish straight. Almost could be echoes of Zandvoort with the big swooping final corner and that final straight to come. Buda covers the inside and he slightly forced Nuno into the grass, which means that we'll see here on track Buda wins the Hungarian Grand Prix for Rapid Motorsport. It was the final corner that decided it. It wasn't a run down the main straight like we expected. Nuno went for the inside there and he didn't get it in the end. Corvid with a great podium drive. He just had that so locked in all race and a great side-by-side across the line. JT beats Hernandi by 100th of a second. Kraft ahead of Figo. Danimator, then Kada finished 9th in the end. Antti took 10th. Rozim will come home 11th place for him. Neon Sunset Racing's Matimar takes 12th position, just ahead of team owner Kubo, who I'm sure will be happy as Larry with that. Jaruni 14th place for him in the end. Rams for FGR takes P15. It's going to be Flux. He didn't manage to beat Kubo, but he does manage to beat a couple drivers. P16 for him in the end. The rain comes as we see these drivers cross the line. These are your final results. Buda, after 25 minutes, 31 seconds of racing, is your race winner here at Margaret Island. Nuno will be a little upset with the end, but maybe ambition over adhesion for the experienced driver. Corvid in 3rd, Kraft in 4th, Figo, then JT, Hernandi, then Denimato, who took the fastest lap as well. Kada, and then the NT Amazing is your top 10. Rozim finished 11th ahead of Matimar, then it was Kubo and Jaruni, Rams, then Flix, Guziman in the Link Sandwich, Eurus finishing P18. Wow, Bubbles, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's a great racing day. What a finish between Buda and Nuna. They were both slipping and sliding because Buda's hards, but also Nuno's softs were both very worn and tight, so they had very little grip. Buda squeezed Nuno, so Nuno wanted to get the inside, get a very good exit, but Buda made sure that he was a little tight. It was a little bit aggressive, but it's the last corner of the last lap. You've got to get aggressive right there, and he did, and he got the win. Great result for Corvid as well. Kraft, Vigo, charged, all great result, but down in P7 we have Hernandi with Nuno, his teammate, in 2nd. Buda winning. That's gonna be a big blow for him for his championship fight. His lead will be down a little bit. 6Y was not here today. His 3rd place will be gone. Kraft is 4th. That means that Hernandi, Nuno, Kraft and Buda, and then Corvid will probably be the new top 5, with all of them scoring good, and Hernandi will be the worst of that. So 4 championship hopefuls in the top 4 gaining on Hernandi right now.
Yeah, it's going to be dead interesting this. So Nuno with 25 points and Andy with 13. That means that he outscores his LSA teammate by 12 points in this race. The gap coming into the race was 22. So 10 points is all that's left between them. Remember, Hernandi is set to miss round 8 at Checkered in Ireland. So we may see the championship yet again swing in Nuno's favour. Number 7 for him, number 2 for him at LSA. We'll be able to see that by the time the season finishes. We'll go straight into interviews now then. If we can, we will start off with Nuno. In the end, that final corner was the decisive moment.
Yeah, I got pushed around inside.
How was your race apart from that?
It was kind of good, but yeah, that ending, man, it's just so stupid. Like, I'm on inside, it doesn't see, like, they squeezed me to the inside there, and I just couldn't have any slipstream because of that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm protesting against that.
Well, we'll see then if that changes the race results come that. But well raced other than that, and a great strategic battle between you and Buda. Were there any moments at which you were thinking that he will definitely have the upper hand, or were you always confident that your strategy would get you to be pretty much level with him in the end?
I think it would be kind of level there. I thought I would be doing better, but it was really tight, but yeah.
Well, interesting to hear. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'll see you.
We'll go next to Corvid. I mean, actually looked like a pretty boring race for you, mate. P3, and that looked the case almost the whole way through.
Boring is one way to put it. If anything, the other way to put it is disappointing. All things considered. Had a great start, got away really well, and then my pace between about lap 6 and lap 20 was terrible. Like, it was... The pace during that period in the race in general just, like, sort of broke any hope of me winning. And then, after that, I just sort of settled on a strategy that would just confirm me as P3, so it was pretty boring. I didn't really have the pace to fight for the top 2. And ultimately, it's just, like... It's a case of what could have been there, but third's still really good for the team. I'm happy to keep a little bit of a podium streak going, and hopefully we can keep it going for the rest of the season as well.
Yeah, 2 in a row is pretty incredible. Do you think that will be you'll be able to lock down second place in the constructors, even with the last couple of races not going FLF's way with Sexy Digger, DNF, and DNS?
I mean, if one of us is on the podium, we'd be holding on to that. Like, at least one of us is getting the points. But hopefully he should be here for the rest of the season. And given his pace, I know we'll both be competing really well for the remainder of the races.
Great to hear. Well done, mate. Okay, we'll go down the list. Bubbles, why don't you pick someone out?
Yeah, I want to talk to Kubo. Congratulations on keeping your house. We heard there was a bet going on between you and Flix, the person who finished ahead.
I don't own a house.
Oh, that's a plot twist.
That is a plot twist and a half.
Yeah, that was a. I feel disappointed in that race because I accidentally pitted onto the wets on the dry track, and I had to recover from P18 3 seconds behind to P13. I couldn't really get much more positions than that, so at least it was a nice comeback.
Great race for Neon Sunset.
Flex will be comeback. What?
Great
Oh,
race for
Neon Sunset, fucking amazing. P5 and P12, I'm happy. Well, for my lads. Matty beat me on pace in the final stint, despite undercutting, so I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of Figo for his personal best finish as well. Good job. Drinks on me.
Yeah, Matty, you were leading at one point. I don't know if you're here, but
What? I was leading?
you
Yeah.
were leading at one point.
Did you not
yes.
notice?
Again?
Yeah, at like lap
Yeah.
7 when you stayed out on the
Yeah,
softs.
It's quite
Are you
unusual when it happens, but the rain fucked me as usual. But honestly, I think that it was the most important race of my career because after falling to P18, everything in my mind has been telling me to just screw this and give up. And then I caught up to Guzzi and Eurist, which was even worse than sitting 4 seconds behind everyone in P18 because they were impossible to pass. But after I did my first pit stop, I something kind of flipped in me, and I decided that I will not give up that easily. And I picked hearts and started going faster than ever before. At one point I was even faster than Kubo on softs, which was pretty funny, and I squeezed everything out of these tires. Chose softs for the final 2 stints. Kubo was catching me, but he hasn't managed to, fortunately for me. I had a worse last lap, but it was because I usually slow down in the last lap a bit because I'm stressing to not make any mistake. But I think this race has proved to me that I'm capable of doing things that I haven't thought I am, and that I can't give up, and that the UL drivers should be informed that there will be soon a new competitor entering the top fight.
Ooh.
Great mindset. Now, lastly, let's go to your teammate. P5, best result of the season, Figo. What do you think about that?
Figo de Fastgueira!
No, I'm really happy about it, you know, because I used to be like a driver who hovered out just outside the top 10. But to get my like second consecutive top 10 finish is, I think, is great. And again, it's my best finish in UL to date. P5, and I'm just overall like really happy to just get a solid points haul for myself and for the team.
More to see from you in the future?
Yeah, I hope to get a podium at some point. You know, maybe in the next season, and even a win. Yeah, I'd be really, really happy about that.
I'm curious to see. Skip, anything to add?
No, absolutely not. I might just squeeze in one final one. Nandi, it was P7 for you in the end. It looked like it could have been, you know, P8 all the way up to P4 because of that very tight pack. Anything in particular you want to comment about the strategy and also what that means for the championship?
Well, about the championship, it's just some points lost. I mean, I can maybe come back, but I still think I will miss the race, so it doesn't matter. And about this race, it was just pure chaos. I was really quickly sent down to the P12, P13, P14, and every time the rain came, I pitted either one lap late or one lap early. So I really had a hard time getting through the field. Even this P7 is a good achievement for me.
Yeah. Well, that sounds pretty fair. And what do you think are the chances that you miss the race?
50-50
Ooh,
for now.
the championship
But-
is on the line.
But honestly, I think Nuno would catch me either way. Like, if even one more race like this happens, I'm just right next to him. I'm not on his level, for sure.
Well, interesting to hear. The mentality of the LSA drivers. Is there perhaps a team order enforced there? We'll have to see.
No, not really, but I just saw what happened this race and every other race, and he's just faster usually.
Well, you never know. Don't ruin my narrative. Great. Well, that is all that we have time for today. We will be back next week for the Chuvash Grand Prix at Amazonia Park. Great little track, twists and turns everywhere, but a bit more open than this circuit, running on the streets of Margaret Island. It should be a very entertaining one. Any closing remarks for you, Bubbles?
No, that was that for me. 3 wins in 4 races for Buddha. More exciting racing next week. I'll see you then.
We'll have to see if Buddha's win does stand, but if it does, that's the case. Whatever happens, we'll see you next week. Until then, bye-bye.